Okay, let's go. We have a Saturday unboxing. Saturday in Japan anyway. This is a kind of a special one. This is the first 4th generation set I think I've come across, and it is a 4th generation of a very popular set, the ThieAudio Monarch. So this would be the 4th version of that, and it's a set that's kind of stayed reasonably true to its origins, unlike some other part 2s and 3s that seem to depart so much that they really didn't seem to have anything to do with what the original was. They've kind of kept the DNA of this one through 3 iterations so far. Let me get this plastic off of here. Right in the front, love to see it. We got 2 8mm dynamics, 6 Sonian BAs, 2 Sonian ESTs, so it looks like we've got all Sonian drivers that are not dynamic. 4-way crossover with 4 separate sound tubes. That's what I'm talking about. And it looks like it's got a impedance of 9 ohms, plus minus 1, sensitivity of 100, plus minus 1. Let's go ahead and take this sleeve off. Got Bob Marley in the background. Hope he's not going to ding me. Slide that off. Put this right here. And we have a box that is familiar if you purchased a Monarch or any ThieAudios in the past couple of years. On the inside we have a puck. That's the top of the puck. And on the inside they have 2 terminations. I'm assuming this is going to be, I can see it. It is 3.5 and 4.4. And then we have foam tips. And then we have silicone tips with the blue core. And then we have more silicone tips. One of these look like narrow right here. These look maybe not narrow. And then also a cleaning tool right here. So we got that, those tips, those tips, those tips. There we go. And then over here we have a little flip top, and underneath is probably going to be the cable. There we go. And you push your fingers down to get this out. You really don't want to pull by the cable if you can help it. See if I can do what I say. The whole thing here is that you don't want to put pressure on the 2-pin, because it's the weakest part of the link. And then that would be it for what comes inside of it. Let's go ahead and take a look at this for a second. Get this glove off. Got a Velcro. This is a cable that I haven't seen before with Thie. I don't think so anyway. I'm trying to think of the Valhalla. Take that off. I don't think it was this brown or this type of weave, but this kind of shroud on the outside. Let's go ahead and take a look at the set. This is the second set that ThieAudio has released that has a metal shell. The Valhalla was the first one. I was just training, so if you see drips of water, it's me. The first thing we got to take a look at is right here in the back, and this is a switch, and you can adjust the tuning just one way, and that is to lift the bass. That I think is, just so you can see, I'm looking at this, there is a graph, and you can click on the link that's going to be in the description, and it's showing a lift from about 400 and goes back, and then it really becomes around 200 hertz. It becomes maybe more than 3 dB. And this is a switch that looks like I can, oh, that is dope. You can see that it's all gold right there, and if I hit it, you can see a red right there. I'm not sure if the camera can pick this up, so you can see very easily by looking at it which way it is. Dip switches are something that a lot of people don't like, and I'm one of those, because you need a little tool or a pen tip. You can't do it with your fingers, and there's sometimes 2 or 3, and it becomes confusing, and you usually end up doing just one single one, and then you never adjust it. So it's kind of, I'm not a fan of it really at all, actually. I'd just rather have something that's matching my taste. On the other hand, or however, I'm a person that came into the hobby and I was a big fan of the original was the FiO E12 Mont Blanc, and it had a bass switch on it. My boomboxes have bass switches on them, whether it's the JBLs or the ones that I've made myself. A bass switch, my car audio has essentially a bass switch. I can turn it up. It's an inline adjustment between the head unit and the subwoofer amp, turn up more voltage. So I'm a big fan of this. It doesn't require any tools. It doesn't do a bunch of different stuff, or actually like really not a lot of difference with different tunings. It's just one single thing, and it is a bass switch. And it lifts up the bass. It's really nice too. I'm not sure. You can pick that up. That's a nice click sound. Bravo to ThieAudio. I didn't know that this was coming about or coming along. The caps are kind of subdued compared to a lot of ThieAudios, but I think some people might, the exploding sun or the cracked lava, something a little more subtle might be more for some people. And this looks pretty subtle. It looks nice. It's not really in your face. I absolutely love that switch. And as you can see, just by a quick look, I can see red on both of these, so they've got the same switch. You would be able to pick that up anyway. We've got a chin slider, a gold one, that actually works. We've got a Y split, and it's a nice weave. And then we've got another. Is this some kind of strain release or something? I'm not really sure. So we've got the chin slider here, we've got the Y split here, and then we've got another piece of hardware here. I'm not really sure what this is. Imagine if that had like cobalt or something in there. And then we've got the termination right here. I'm gonna go ahead and open this one up since I got my gloves off already. This is gonna go either to a Patreon eventually or a giveaway. So sorry, you're not going to get that, but everything else will be in mint condition. Bob Marley, please don't. There we go. Don't ding me, Bob. So that is the set. It looks nice. ThieAudio is a company that I've been kind of with since they came about because it's very much like a Linsol brand. And I've said this before in other videos, and I'll say it again. Is there a company out there in the entirety of the hobby, I mean worldwide, that has as many legit options that are warm to neutral, branded drivers, and multiple different types of the Prestige LTD, the V16, the Monarch 1, 2, 3, or maybe 4 is going to be an excellent set. God, the original Oracle, the Oracle 3, they got several really, really, really nice sets. And this one has a bass adjustment, and we'll take a look at this right here. It's called Rumble Mode, which is very cool, and then Standard, which is, I'm going to go ahead and measure this, so if you see this video right now, by the time you're looking at this, I'll probably have the graph up on SquigLink, and I will measure the two, only two, just regular out of the box, which I assume is with the red. I'll find out, and then the other switch. So I don't need any pins, I don't need any pens. And I can literally reach over, I'm pretty sure, and hit this switch while it's in my ear. Yeah, I could do that really easy. That's dope. That's really nice. I brought up the FiO Mont Blanc E12. There was a Cayenne version. Cayenne made a gold one that had the cheap plastic cover on it, but the bass boost on that was just absolutely chef's kiss. That was absolutely brilliant. If anybody knows the name of that Cayenne gold amp, go ahead and mention that below, because that might help you out when I go ahead and maybe pick somebody from this section, see if they commented, and then also under the main review. So this is the ThieAudio Monarch MKIV. It's all Sonians. It's got a bass switch. It's got the graph right there. You can see the major elevation is in the mid bass cut, which is kind of can make stuff sound maybe a little bit thin, lacking a little bit of note weight. For other people, they prefer that because it maybe cleans out vocals. If you want to just lift that up, you have a single switch. Red is on, that is off. So it is actually coming out of the box with the rumble switch on. I'm going to go check that out. And I'm out. You guys have a great weekend.